Okay, hello everyone. If you can hear me, say something in the chat, on the YouTube chat. I think I have a little bit of echo somewhere. If you can hear me on YouTube, just say hello, so I know everything is working well. My voice is dim. My voice is low. My voice is dim. My voice is a lot of things today. Okay, so let's start. Thank you all for being here. We've met on Slack already, and I don't think I need to introduce myself again. Because this call is being recorded and it's being streamed live, I am going to be walking through some things we've already talked about on Slack. One of the things that we try to do is to present as much information as possible in different ways. So, we've presented it to you through chats, through text, and now we are doing it through Zoom and YouTube Live. So let's start with this current event that we're doing. So this is called the orientation event. We try as much as possible to focus on giving you the most relevant and important information about the program itself and about different things that will be happening during the program. So that would help you to prepare yourself, prepare your thinking, prepare your mind, and sort of get ready for the program. A couple of years ago, what we normally do is to just invite you to the workspace and dive straight in to the classes, which usually leads to a lot of chaos. So what we've learned over the years, we've learned that we need to walk people into all of these things gradually, especially because we are trying to teach beginners. There are a lot of people who are not really beginners and things become quickly boring to them, but it's fine. We have to try as much as possible to carry everybody along. If you're not a beginner here, you have to be patient because we are trying as much as possible to help everybody that joins the event or the program, the training. Okay. So that's why we present all these things as much as possible. We do it in text, we do it in video, we do it in audio, we do it in as many ways as possible so that we make sure everybody gets what they need to settle into the program properly, to understand what tools we'll be using, to understand how the entire program runs, and to make sure they are ready for the actual classes. Because like I've mentioned, we try to maintain a proper quality. Now we are even increasing the level of quality we are trying to maintain. In the past, we used to have like 12,000 people in the workspace, but now, as at 2022, in that year, we had 85,000 people go through our training. But now we are only doing 1,200 in this cohort. So you should understand the level of quality we are trying to achieve now. Okay. So I need you to prepare your mind for that. And I've also mentioned earlier in the morning or in the afternoon, depending on your time for that period, that you have to pass all of your courses before you can be considered to have completed our training. If you don't pass all your courses, it means you only participated, you didn't complete it. Okay, so it is important to, while you're learning, while you're trying to grow, while you're making friends, it is important to remain focused on the goal of being in this place in the first place. And I know, 5,000 naira is probably very cheap for a lot of people, but don't consider how much you've paid. Consider the value you will get after you complete the training in the proper way. And when I say in the proper way, what I mean is you have a goal, you are working towards that goal, and you have not allowed anything to distract you. And I'll tell you, there will be a lot of distractions. Even some will unintentionally come from us because sometimes we do what we call games, which I'll probably talk about later. And we wouldn't want you to be distracted by anything, including the things that come from us. So one of the things I'll probably firstly say is that you should have a goal for yourself. Why did you decide to join this program or the training in the first place? Are you just trying to see what tech is all about, which is fine? Are you trying to make a career out of tech? That's also fine. Or you are just here to just, because it's very cheap, let me just pay and see what they will do there. There are also people who specifically came to this program or to this training just to cause a distraction. I will just say it that way for now, cause a distraction. And that is because, we've already seen some signs. People come and they say, join my own training. It's better than what they are doing here. Or they come and say, come and join my training. You pay me, I'll mentor you. Those kind of things happen. So I would like for you to be as careful as possible in the people that you relate with. Honestly, we have no problem with people that do training. We have no problem with somebody that comes to our training and say, I want to help others, and I'll collect money from them. But we are not responsible for things like that. And if they do have permission from us, which I really, really doubt, if they do have permission from us, then we'll announce it on the general channel. So what that means is anything that is not posted on general channel or coming from any of our tutors that I mentioned earlier, to identify a tutor, just look for that icon. And even if the icon is on the person's name, you are still not sure, you can always reach out to any of the coordinators that I mentioned in the morning and ask them about whatever information you've been given by the person. And I'm saying this because earlier this morning, somebody sent something to me that was happening in a WhatsApp group. And so, the owner of the WhatsApp group, or whoever it is, was passing across an information that was obviously wrong. I think he was asking people to go and register on zuriboard.com, and that's absolutely wrong because I have not asked you. We have not asked you to register on any platform yet. So be careful the groups that you join. Be careful whoever is reaching out to you that is saying they want to help you. Either they ask you for money or not. Be careful the people you give your information to. All of those things can cause distraction. Set a goal for yourself. Focus on that goal. And whatever you do, make sure you pass all of your courses. Okay? So that's my intro. For what we'll be doing today. I'll be doing a lot of showing and telling today. You can see on my screen, hopefully you can see my screen. We have a couple of people that we are partnering with for this particular course. I would like to mention them and tell you what they are doing for us and what they are doing for you. Pay for Me app, Light Host, and Pay for Me app, Light Host have given scholarships to people in the training. I'm going to explain what scholarship means later. JetBrains have given us access to premium tools. So JetBrains are the owners of platforms like PHP Storm and other coding platforms. So we have a few, premium JetBrains license that we'll be sharing with those who are doing coding. Juwon Tech and Palm Tech will be working with us to mentor people and to teach you and to help you to grow. Juwon Tech talks about general things in tech, not technical things. Palm Tech talks about technical things. She just teaches technical things. She doesn't care much about how to, how to start a business. She just teaches how to code and things like that. So those are the two balances that we have there. Lighthost, in addition to giving scholarship, would also be the official hosting platform that we'll be using for every test project. So that means you wouldn't have to worry about setting up an hosting or a domain name or whatever. We are going to be using Lighthost for all of that. And when the time comes, we'll explain a lot more what that means for you. PHP Sandbox, we'll be using PHP Sandbox for PHP classes, as you can already tell from the name. It's just easier, to use a platform that is running from the browser to teach classes instead of having to install tools and some other things like that. So these are the partners we'll be working with for this particular cohort. What we might ask you, like I mentioned in the morning, to interact with some of their posts. We might even ask you to run some tests on their platforms and give feedback that we can then send back to them. Just have this at the back of your mind as you continue in the program. All right, so if you do have any question as I'm talking, you can send it either in the Zoom chat if you're on Zoom or on YouTube chats, and somebody will respond to you. I do have Damilola on the call, I have Chinaza on the call, and I have Abdul on the call. They'll be looking at your questions, they'll provide answers for you, or they will send them to me to provide an answer so that everybody can get a response to that particular question. So don't worry about questions, just ask your question and somebody will respond to you. Before I go into the specific things we'll be talking about today, I would like to answer some questions we've gotten, from the morning session and before the morning session. And one of the most prominent questions has been about the LMS. Somebody even said, hey, I've not gotten invite to the LMS. When am I going to get invite to the LMS? This is a very good question, but you have nothing to worry about. I will start by saying, don't register on zuribot.com. I'm going to zuribot.com now. Zuribot.com is not the LMS itself. This is the wait list for those who want to use the LMS for their own training programs. If you are not intending on starting your own training program, you don't have to complete anything here on this form. This form is for those who want to use the LMS for their own separate training. If you do want to use it for your own training, then complete the LMS, complete the form, and then we'll give you more information about it. So don't sign up on this platform. You will be invited to the LMS, and we would announce when the invite has been sent out. We'll send an email, and we would also announce on Slack, which brings me to the next question. Slack. Slack is just our communication platform. It's just a community for you to either interact with the tutors, interact with the fellow learners, or get relevant announcements. It's just much easier. Slack does not belong to us. So those that have been sending me a message about the problem they've been having with Slack, there's really nothing I can do to help you, okay? So you can do some Google searching to find answers, or you can, if it's a big problem, you can reach out to Slack themselves, which I doubt will be necessary because there will be a lot of information online to help you solve whatever issue you're having with Slack. Slack has a desktop version. They have a mobile version for all types of mobile apps, mobile phones. So make sure you install as much as possible so that you can get, real-time information when it comes in. Now, still talking about Slack, we will be creating some more channels. A channel basically in Slack is like a room, so to say, where you can have a collective or a collection of things happening in that room. For example, we have the introduction channel, which is for introductions. We'll be creating track-specific channels, which is the product design track. We'll have a channel for that. Front end, we'll have a channel for that. And then back end, we'll have a channel for that. Once we create a channel, that will be after this call. You can join any of those channels, but make sure the conversations you have in them are specific to what the channel is for. And even if you are not taking the course, you can still join the channel. It's going to be an open channel that anybody can join. You can just join, but don't cause problems so that we don't kick you out of the entire channel or the entire workspace. Right, so that starts for the LMS and then for Slack. Okay, one more thing on the LMS. So the LMS is going to be where you get your assignments. It's going to be where you get information about your task, your project, your courses, your track. You are also going to be getting some relevant document that I'll be showing you very soon regarding your courses and how, when they are going to be happening. You'll be getting your timetable, your lecture notice will be happening on the LMS. Most of the things that happen on the LMS will be announcing it also on Slack, but the main focus will be the LMS for those kind of things. And the LMS does not have a mobile application yet. We are currently working on that, but it's not available yet. So you will require a computer, a monitor, whatever you want to call it, to use the LMS properly. You can use your phone's browser, but I'm telling you now, it's not going to be effective because it's just not made for your phone, okay? So you need your laptop or your desktop or access to something that would allow you to use LMS properly. Okay, so that's that for the LMS. I'll be showing you what it looks like in a couple of minutes. But let me see if I have any questions at the moment so I can answer them before I move on. I don't think there's any question. Yeah, I can't see any question from the tutor, so I'll just continue. Oh, yeah. JetBrains, you can visit their website if you want. So JetBrains website is this. They basically produce tools for developers. So you can get, I use JetBrains for everything I do. For Python, for Ruby, and for PHP, I use JetBrains. So that was why I was able to reach out to them to give us access. So But you can do some search about it if you want. Right, so I'll go to the next thing. Maximizing access to tutors and to counselors and to fellow learners in the workspace. And what that means is one of the advantages of tech communities is that you can learn as a collective. There is an issue when there is an isolated learning. When you are learning in isolation, there could be some issues. You could be learning things the wrong way. You could be learning things the way you're not supposed to learn it. You could be, different things can go wrong. If you have nobody around you to support you, to provide help when you need it, or to just be there as a guide whenever you need it, that's the advantage of a community. And that's one of the reasons why we make Slack a community channel for everybody to join. When it comes to maximizing access to this community, you have to learn to ask for help when it is necessary. When is it necessary? When you have tried to solve that problem on your own. The only way to grow in tech is to keep trying. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter how many times you've taken some past courses in the past. It doesn't matter how many times you've done HTML. If you still don't feel comfortable, if you don't know it well, just keep trying. And if you've tried to solve some problems on your own, there is nothing wrong in going to somebody, your colleague, somebody learning with you, some of the tutors, and asking them for help. So the hierarchy, like I've mentioned on Slack, is try to solve the problem on your own, regardless of what kind of problem it is. It could be a question around how to use some things on the LMS. It could be how to use Slack. Try to solve it on your own. While you're trying to solve it, you will learn some new things. If you can't solve it, ask a colleague, ask a friend, somebody you have on WhatsApp that is currently taking the training, ask them for help. Sit down together and try to solve it together. If you still cannot solve it, then you can reach out to any of the tutors and say, look, I've been struggling with this. I've tried to do this. I've tried to do that. Can you help me out? Now, look at the way I described my message to the tutor. I said, I'm trying to solve this. I have tried to do this. I have tried to do that, but I still can't solve it. That's very clear. You've told the tutor, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I've tried. This is what I've achieved, but I still can't solve the problem. That way, I know everything you've done already, and then I can provide an alternative. That's better than sending a message that says hello and then waiting for a response. Don't waste your time waiting for a response from somebody who is getting like 50 messages per hour. Okay. So that's how to maximize the access that you currently have. Make sure you try things on your own and then go to the list I've mentioned earlier. Finally, I would like to sound another notice regarding joining external groups. We would only communicate with you through the channels that we use for our training. It doesn't matter if the group you've joined has our logo. This is what somebody said to me. He said, the group has your logo. Anybody can download logo online and just put it anywhere. Be careful the WhatsApp groups you join, because the owner of the WhatsApp group now has your phone number, which I really don't advise giving out just like that. So be careful the groups you join. Any group that is not announced on our channel, the general channel, doesn't belong to us. And in fact, I would advise that you report such groups so that they don't cause more harm than good for those that are truly trying to learn. And if you are here, you are still creating groups, I would really advise that you stop doing that so that we don't cause any distractions. And so we are not forced to kick you out of the program, which we've done several times before, just to tell you the truth about that. We get people like that every year. Thank God it's a smaller group now, but in the past, it used to be a lot more people that we kick out of the program because they refuse to listen to the rules and regulations. So that gives me access to the next point I wanted to talk about, which is about rules and regulations. We'll be sharing a document tomorrow that contains a list of everything that we consider necessary for you to do or not to do. I would advise that you study this thing properly and understand it. If you don't understand any part or you don't agree with any part, you can reach out, okay? For example, some people reach out and say, my religion doesn't allow me to upload photos on public platforms. That's absolutely fine, just reach out and let's know. Although having a profile picture is not a requirement for you to, complete the training, it might be a requirement for you to download your certificate when the time comes, because that's actually private to you. It's not a public platform, so that's private to you. Profile picture that we ask you to upload on Slack is just for us to to sort of have a sense of community. It's easier to communicate with somebody that you can see, even if it's not physically, than to just communicate with a name. Okay, that's why we had that rule. So there'll be a lot of things like this that we have in there. Some of them are absolutely necessary that you must not do. And one example is to harass people. And how we define harassment is you are doing something, the person says no, you refuse to stop. It is harassment. It doesn't matter if you are joking, it doesn't matter if you are just catching cruise, it really doesn't matter to us. If you are doing it, the person says you have to stop and you refuse to stop. If you are reported, it is considered as harassment and you would be, I don't use the word punished, but there will be consequences to those kind of actions. We don't allow people to bully anybody, either cyber or not. Don't bully anyone. Don't say I'm better than you. It doesn't really matter if you're better than people anyway. So just be careful how you interact with people, and don't be too quick to get into a fight with anyone. In this particular training, there is not going to be a particularly difficult Teams project. You might have to collaborate with others, but we will not really have a Teams dependent project for this particular cohort. But if you collaborate with others, make sure you don't copy what others have done. This is very important, and it's a very important rule. It's easy to catch you because you'll be submitting on the same platform, and we can see if it's too similar, just to tell you the truth now. So if you can form a community and meet in somewhere and work on solving problems together, don't submit the same thing. Don't copy each other. If you are given an assignment, don't go somewhere, copy the solution and post. That would be difficult to do because our assignments are created by us every month. But just in case you find the answer somewhere, make sure you understand it. There is nothing wrong in doing a lot of Google searching, which we encourage you to do, to find solutions, to find answers. But don't just blindly copy and paste answers and expect to get a full grade. Okay, that's also one of our rules. Don't copy from anybody, don't steal or collaborate and then submit the same thing. It is not acceptable. So you'll be getting that document explaining everything by tomorrow. Yeah, that's that. I will check again because I'm done with that session of rules. I'll check if there are questions. I can't find the chat thing. So okay, I found it. Okay, so for the IDE, for the JetBrains Premium Access, somebody said after finishing the program, will it still be available? Yes, I think they gave us for 1 year, so you might still have it for 1 year. We just can't renew it for you because we'll be giving it to the next set of student that comes in. But I'll check again if it's for 1 year or for a couple of months or for 6 months or something. But it's definitely going to cover the entire program and a little bit more. But I'll let you know and I'll announce that. Will there be awards given in this program? No, we will not be giving awards. I don't know okay, maybe something like best graduating student. No, we don't do that here, sorry. We'll not be doing that. We, just learn, improve your skills, and go out there and become a principality. Can I transfer my enrollment to somebody? Yes, that's allowed for now. So if you registered and you feel like you can't continue, maybe something came up, you can transfer that registration to somebody else and we will set it up so that the person joins and then you leave. That's fine. But it has to be, properly done. You cannot just say, I want to transfer and that's it. You have to tell us what is happening while you're transferring. We don't want anybody to abuse it. It's okay. Somebody's asking, can I use ChatGPT? It depends. Obviously, you can't just throw in the question and copy the answer that it gives to you. I would not advise you to do that because then you will not learn what you're supposed to learn. The point of, this entire thing is so that you learn the necessary things. If you just rely on ChatGPT or any other tool out there, you are not learning. And if you go for an interview, many of them will require that you don't use any of these tools. They would accept you to do some Google searching, but many of them will require that you don't use any of these tools for the interview process. So why not just go through this process and learn the right way instead of relying on those tools? Obviously, there are some things you can ask those tools. I do it actually. Let me tell you an example of what I do. I was working on a project that requires me to create a bunch of variables and assign them to a bunch of things. That's manually, but I didn't want to spend time typing like 70 something lines of code just assigning things to variables. So I just gave what's the Google thing called? I think Google Gemini. I gave it some instructions and it just created it for me and I copied that and I used it. That sounds fine to me, but I'm not giving it my entire problem and saying solve it and then copy the code from and then paste it as an answer. That would not be good. Okay, yeah, okay. Moving on, there's no more question. What's the duration of the program? Oh, I would think you know that by now. It's 3 months. We've started already, so yeah, that's that. I will talk about what happens after this training. Somebody's asking about it, but I'll talk about it once I'm done with this particular one, or we'll talk about it on Slack because we have, like 30 minutes more for this particular call. All right, that's enough questions for now. I'll go to the next thing now. Okay, let's go to, I'm going to another screen now. So let's go to this file. If you can still see my screen, can you indicate somewhere? I do think you can still see my screen. Okay, so I know you've seen this. I just wanted to walk through it again to explain anything that you might have missed. Obviously, this first part, we are currently here. We are doing the orientation, which is going to be ending tomorrow. And then the next thing is for us to invite to the LMS. Tomorrow's orientation will be me walking you through the LMS and explaining how you interact with some things there, how to check your assignments, how to check your calendar, how to view your lecture, how to indicate you're attending a lecture or not, and so on. I'll be showing you all of that by tomorrow's session. So that's the orientation. Then we'll add you to the LMS. The LMS will be adding you to your own track, as we have indicated here, adding you to your own track. But after you've been added to your track, you will then be required to register for specific courses, which I'm going to be talking about next. Being added to the LMS and being added to your track is not all that you need to do. You still need to register for courses. So being added to the LMS and being added to a track is like you are typically going to a normal university, you've gained admission, you've been added to a department. In that department, you still need to register for courses. I think most universities do it every year. You have to register every year for new courses. So this is something that happens every time. People join the LMS and they just assume that's all. And then they come back to complain that they've not been getting assignments. And many of them miss so many assignments and so many information. So after you've been added to the LMS, you still have to register for courses, which I'll be showing you very soon. On the LMS, we have 3 tracks. We have the front end, back end, and design track. The design is the easiest choice. You don't have any choice. You have to just do all the available courses. You have to do all the available courses. Backend has some choices. So you have some required courses as indicated here. And then you have a PHP part and a Node.js part. You have to choose one of these 2 courses. You can't do both of them at the same time. You have to do just one of them. And then the same thing for front end, there is the Vue.js and the React.js side. Let me give you some sort of warning here. It's not really a warning, just an advice. Some people try to be smart and they register for Vue.js and React.js. The problem is it will affect your certificate. It will affect your transcript. And then we would see it and we will cancel your studentship with us because you are trying to do what you're not supposed to do. Okay? While the system might even allow you to register for all these things, if you do it, it will be a problem when you are done with the training. And it will be a problem generally, to be fair with you, because the assignments will clash, the classes will clash, it will just be too much. So make sure you only select the one you prefer to do and do it. You can come back in future cohorts and do some other ones, but make sure you only select the ones you can do now and do it. For those that have registered for multiple tracks, for example, you've registered for front end and also back end, you will still be required to select one of these 2. So for front end, you'll be required to select either React.js or Vue.js. For back end, you'll be required to select either PHP or Node.js. Please don't forget this. It's very important. Now, after the training is done, there is something we call continuous development training, which is currently not available to you. It is only available to those who have completed our training before. And as a matter of fact, we've put on hold every cohort. So the new cohort is just going to be starting after this particular training. And that's why I won't give you too much information about it yet until it is available so that you can check it on your own. But basically, it allows you to keep learning. We just give you projects to work on. We give you assignments. We give you feedback. There are no classes. We just give thorough feedback on your submissions. That's what CDT is. And it's a monthly retainer thing. You pay every month if you want to remain there. Each month we do at least one full project where you get thorough feedback from much more senior engineers and designers. But you will get more information about this as time goes on. Okay, if there are no questions about this, I'll go to the next thing now. And if there are questions you can ask, I'm sure my people will answer you. Right, so let's talk about this track. Now, I've mentioned the tracks that are available. I said we have the front end, the back end, and the design track. There is another track which we call the general track. The general track is for everybody to do. Everybody gets automatically added to the general track, okay? It's just general things that we believe that you need, but some of them are optional. So I'm going to walk you through some of them now. We have what we call, basic 100, which is basic computer operations, basic computer concept, where we talk about what is software, what is hardware, what is keyboard, what is mouse. It's very basic. It's just very easy. And it's optional. So all of these courses that are under general track, they are optional. Okay. Software development lifecycle is optional. Collaboration and teamwork is optional. Dealing with stress and rest is optional. All of these things are optional. If you do decide to do them, please, this is important. If you decide to do any of them, you have to pass it. Okay. I mean, it's optional, but if you do it, you have to pass it. So if you cannot cope with the number of work you have to do based on your specialized track, just avoid doing the ones you can't cope with, But obviously, you have to do some of them because it's just very necessary if you want to grow in your career. For example, things like domain name, hosting, and servers. Everybody needs to know what those are, even if you're a designer. Things like documentation and research, everybody needs to know that. And CV review is important for people too. So just make your choice properly and select a few of them and do them, but you have to pass it. The good thing is, it's very easy to pass, these things. Some of them don't even have particular assignment. They just have you to indicate that you've attended the class and understood the class. So it's very easy to pass them. I can't give you full details yet, but it's easy to pass them. Just make sure you select the few that you know you can handle. Okay. All right, I'll go to the next track, which track is it? Which is the front end track. These are the list of courses, and you will get access to this document, by the way. We've also shown you the timeline and when these things will be happening. Though this is everything you'll be learning under this course, under the front end track, and we've shown you when it will be happening. So the first month you'll be learning this, second month you'll be learning this. As you would see, we don't have any specific date yet. So the specific timetable will be published to you, I think next week. For now, you'll get access to this and you understand when these things are happening and you can plan yourself, you can plan your time. But specific classes, specific assignments will be available starting from next week. Okay. So this is a list of courses available here. When it gets to this part, you have to select one of these. I think there's a mistake in this document. This should have said, I don't know what we'll call it, but either of these two are required, but both of them are impossible. That's what that means. I don't know how we'll write it in documents. I'm sure that Milona will help me to do that. But anyway, so you have to select either React.js or Vue.js. You can't do both of them. Okay, but we'll be doing React.js and Vue.js on the third month, which is going to be your project month. But let me clarify. So we know we call this the project month, and we call it project month because, yeah, okay, I'll show you this now. We call it the project month because it will be less of hand holding in the third month. We'll be more focused on getting you to complete a CV worthy project for the third month. So we just basically call it the project month, but it's not really the project month because in all of these places, in the first month you work on assignment and project. In the second month you work on assignment and project. It's just project and project and project all through the entire training. So the project month is not just project month. It's just that we are going to be less hands-on and allow you to learn and build things on your own and grow from there. So that's what this is. You will get access to all of these. There is a design track, which is the easiest, honestly, not the easiest track. It's just the easiest to understand. There are no options. Everything is required. once you join the design track, just go to the LMS and register for all these courses. And that's all. You don't have anything to worry about. And then we have the back end track. The same principle applies here, just like the front end track. You get the list of courses you are required to do. You get the optional you're also supposed to select from. So we have the Laravel and then the Node.js. So those are the options that are available. Is that the option? Sorry, not Laravel. So it's PHP, it's PHP and Node.js. Sorry, it's PHP and Node.js. Those are the options that are available. And you can also see the timeline here. And if it's required, obviously it's required. And obviously it's beginner level courses. So you would also get access to this document that explains how this thing work, and how to navigate, blah, 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 and how to register. I will not be reading all of this because it's like 4 pages or so. Yeah, I'm not going to be reading that. So just go over it and read it again. And then you would also be able to view, right. So there's another document, which is not here now, that shows a breakdown of these courses that you'll be getting next week. So you don't have to worry about it for now. Just focus on this summary, understand what it means, do some of your own research and see what you'll be learning. And one other thing you can do is to, if you want, you can print this thing, and as we go through them, you can mark them as understood or not understood. Okay. So that would help you to track your own progress. So you know which area that is not really clear to you. And then you know how to tackle them either during the continuous development training or on your own self-learning journey. Okay. So I would advise you just print, these pages and keep them, mark them, the things that you fully understand, the things that you don't understand, see if you can get them, if you can become better at them. Yeah, that's the entire point of this training anyway, for you to keep getting better and growing from there. Right. Are there any questions on the tracks, the courses that are available under them, and the journey itself? If there are questions, please post them now. Yeah, right. So this is a good question. Let me go to backend. So somebody is asking about DevOps. We usually don't teach DevOps to beginners, but we teach you certain concepts that are useful in your back-end journey. Okay. We don't, obviously, DevOps is a bit more advanced. And in my opinion, I think DevOps is something you grow into. So you start as a developer and then you grow into becoming a DevOps engineer. In my opinion, that might be wrong. So what we do, though it's not showing here, is you will be taught on certain things. Let's go to general. For example, in this part, if you're in back end, you will get to learn a lot about servers and hosting and domain and how to deploy things and how to host your website and so on. So that's, just basic part of those kind of interactions, what a server is, how many types of servers you can get access to, how you can install things on your own laptop to practice, and possibly virtual machines. Yeah, but again, you'll get access to a list of everything you'll be learning, so it's clear. I mean, this is a very easy question. Somebody is saying that your laptop is not available at the moment. Are you allowed to use somebody else's laptop? Look, buy, borrow, steal, just have a laptop. That's what matters to us. Don't steal anyway, but you get my point. Okay, in software development and design, do I need to select both back end and front end? I'm not sure I understand that question, but you can't do, you've registered for all the tracks, you just have to select the option you want to go for. I'm not really sure how to answer that question, but hopefully you can reach out to me on Slack if I didn't answer it well. How do I know which course I pick? Yeah, you just register for the course. We'll show you how to register for a course on the LMS tomorrow. So when the time comes, you just select that course and register for it. It's easy. It's just a click of a button. You know what? I could even show you a preview now. I think I have it somewhere. Yeah, so this is on my own local host, so it doesn't make sense to anybody. But this is typically what your page will look like. You would see two buttons here that say select a course, select a track. You'll get your student ID showing here. I will show you all of this, tomorrow, I guess, I think. You have some text here. Obviously, it's just blah, blah for now. You will see your lectures for this week, you will see your current stage. Everybody's starting from stage 0, so nothing to worry about. You will see your current post or the post of this week. You will see your current assignment. You will see when the assignment is going to expire. You will see the ones that have been graded and the ones that have not been submitted. You will see them in there. So this assignment is going to expire in 152 days. You can see the time is counting down here. So this is what your own page will look like. I'll show you more details about this tomorrow. This is what your point, which is the grade you currently have, will look like on the LMS. So you register for your course by going to that page and just selecting the course you want to do. You can even leave a course if we allow you to do that. Okay, so bringing me to the next point. Can I switch my track? Can I unregister for a course? Yes, you can, but we usually have a time limit on all of those things. Typically, you would have maybe 1 week, possibly next week, to select your course, select your tracks, and make your choice. So if you do want to change your track based on what you've paid for already, we'll release a form and you can fill that form and we'll change your track, and then you can select the courses you want under that new track. But everything has to be done as quickly as possible. If you have not decided on the track you want, I would advise that you start doing your research now. I posted a couple of videos earlier in the morning explaining each of those tracks. I will still, like I promised in the morning, be publishing some videos that explains those languages under each of those tracks. So just give you a basic overview of them. So that would help you in your choice, okay? But if you are not entirely sure what you want to do, just go for anyone that looks right to you. Again, you can always improve on yourself. The important thing is usually that you learn the basics of programming or design, then you'll be able to manage to learn other languages on your own. Okay, I personally believe that if you know one language, I mean, obviously, an object-oriented language, obviously. If you know one language very well, then it becomes easier to branch off and learn other languages. So regardless of your choice, okay, don't be afraid to, if you're making the right choice or not, you'll do well if you learn those languages very well. Probably another thing that can help you with a choice would be look at your current environment and look at the jobs that are available. Look at the ones that you would really like to get into and use that to make your choice. Okay. Again, like I said in the beginning, set a goal for yourself, go for that goal. Let everything you do throughout this training be around fulfilling that goal. So if yours is getting a job that pays in some currency that you like, that's fine. Do a research and see the languages, how much they are getting paid, and see jobs that are available in your environment and go for those specific courses. Okay, we are almost there. I'm glad this is going well. We are getting questions, getting responses to the questions. Okay, so now I want to talk about the scholarship. I have 2 more things on my list, so I'll just go over the scholarship stuff now. The scholarship that we do have is what we call post-registration scholarship. When you in higher institutions, when you get scholarship, they pay for your course and so on and so forth. But many of them require that you actually gain admission first. Okay. And one of the reasons why they do that is they want to make sure only those who truly qualify for that scholarship will get it. While in our own case, it's not really about qualification, it's just about those who truly need it, which is why, and needing it is not really all about the money, okay? Some people can afford it, but they don't need the training. So we only want those who need the training and need the help to get the training. And that's what the scholarship is for, which is why we said everybody that is going to join the training have to pay the commitment fee. And after you've joined and completed your first assignment, then you can ask for a partial refund. And that could be something that will help you in, buying your internet subscription for 1 month or something like that. But which is the point? Just to help you in your learning journey. Okay, so the scholarship is a post-registration scholarship, which means you've completed the registration, you've joined the LMS, you've done your first assignment, and then you can apply for the scholarship. Okay. Unfortunately, we have very limited slots. I can't remember the specific numbers right now, but I'm sure I'll check and I will announce. But only we go from top to bottom. So if there are at the moment 1,200 and something people doing the training, and we only have like, I don't know, I can't remember, maybe like 250 slots for this partial refund, it means we'll go from top to bottom. The first set of people to complete the assignment, apply for scholarship, we'll go from top to bottom, award them the partial refund, and once we get to our limit, we'll stop from there. Okay, so that means if you intend to get it, it's just to help those that need it. I know it's not a lot, but there will be those that can use that money to buy internet for 1 month. Okay. So if you don't need it, you know you can afford to buy electricity or sorry, buy fuel and buy internet subscription. Please don't apply. Let people that need it just, let them get it. Okay. Yeah, that's the scholarship stuff. There'll be a form that'll be released. You fill the form if you're interested. Once you fill the form, we'll check your assignment that you submitted, and then we'll award the scholarship to you. Okay. And then finally on my list, before I look for more questions, finally on my list, by the way, tutors, if I'm missing anything, just, nudge me a little bit so I'll go back to them and talk about it. So I want to talk about counselors and what they'll be doing. If you look at this page on our website, we have people that we call counselors. You can look at their profile here if you want. I am exceptionally proud of having Pamela and Juwon on our list, because I've worked with them before on a separate training program in the US. And I'm really happy to have them on the Zuri team at the moment, helping us to counsel people. So what counselors will do is to help you in different areas that are not necessarily technical. So for example, Pam has 20 years of experience lecturing in different universities in the US. So she has experience in what people go through as learners. She knows what a beginner is going through. She can listen to you and she can advise you. She can sort of tell you how to overcome some challenges. Juwon has been in tech for a while. He currently works at Apple, I think. Yeah, Apple. He works as a project manager at Apple, and he also deals with developers and designers and DevOps engineers every day, and he has a lot of experience. So these are the people that we have. But soon, Steven, I used to miss that name every time. Steven, Chinaza, all of them are quite experienced. Damilola is at the head of design, quite experienced, that they would be available to host some sessions with you. So how counseling works is in your timetable, you will see live sessions. We will post some forms asking you to submit your questions for these counselors. For example, if you are having trouble navigating your learning journey, you are saying, oh, I'm just struggling, I don't know what I'm doing, you can put that in the form. What we will do is to compile those questions and group them into how similar they are, and then assign it to each of these counselors. And then they will come and host an event to answer those questions for you, to offer their counseling for you. Now, it's also possible that they gain some interest in specific people and they say, I'm interested in this person. Can this person be assigned to me to be for me to keep working with them even after this training? That's absolutely fine, but they have to make the choice. Okay. You cannot request to be assigned to somebody if one of them sees that, oh, this person, I feel like I would be much more helpful if I can continue helping them, then they would ask, and then we'll assign you to them and you can work together from there. But you cannot ask to be assigned to somebody. And at the moment, we don't offer paid mentorship. So some of you have asked me, how much will it cost me to be mentored by Zuri? We don't offer paid mentorship. We only do trainings for now. So none of these people will ask you to pay any money to be mentored by them. They will just be available to help you. Bosun and Jude went through one of our trainings in the past, and Bosun is the creator of PHP Storm. Jude is the creator of Pay for Me app. So there are people that we know, so they will be able to help you. If you'll be interested in creating your own company, your own product, your own startup or whatever, these people will be able to offer good advice on that. And I'm happy to have them on the team too. Okay, so these are the counselors that we have, and that's how the counseling session will work. All right, so any more questions? I'm basically done with everything I need to pass across. We have like 15 minutes more to answer questions. If there are questions, please ask me, and I will be happy to answer them. So I'll go through some of the questions that we currently have, and I will try to answer some of them. Okay, somebody said, can we have access to this course outline and the details before we pick? Yeah, I would have to check the timeline. I'm not sure if it will be available before then, but hopefully we should be able to do that. But if it is not, like I mentioned, I will still be making, some relevant videos on each of those tracks, each of those courses, so that you can have an idea of what they are and what they are used for. And you can it can guide you and help you to make a choice from there. If any of the tutor is trying to reach me, I think WhatsApp might be better. Just send me a WhatsApp message because I can't see Slack right now. I don't know why. Okay, I can see Slack now. Sorry. Okay. I'll just check if there are any things. Okay, Zuri's official account on Twitter. That's a good question, but this is just the Zuri team. No, sorry, that's YouTube. Okay, this is our YouTube channel. Let me just show you that now. You can subscribe there. You should definitely subscribe there because when we post things, you will then get notified. So you should definitely subscribe there. Let's go to Twitter, I guess. On Twitter, we are also the Zuri team. Yeah, so this is what it looks like on Twitter. Just the Zuri team. I'll post all of this on Slack and you can, follow or something like that. All right, any more questions? How many courses are we allowed to pick in general? You can do all of them if you have the time, the resources, and the energy, and the interest. You can do all of them if you want. General courses are available. You can do all of them. There are no. I would definitely advise this for front end and back end though. It's just the intro phase, but I would definitely advise it so you can get started. One of the things that makes people afraid of software development is data structure and algorithm because many companies will require that you do them before you can be employed by them. So I would definitely advise this for backend and front-end developers. I would definitely advise this for backend developers. I would advise this for everybody. This for everybody. Any of these, you can do any of them. This for maybe front-end and backend also. Actually, this for everybody also. So yeah, you can do any of the course. You can do all of them if you have the time. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? Will the lectures be flexible for working class and also those 7? Yeah. So the lectures are, I would say yes, flexible because they'll be recorded and you can always watch them. Okay. And even if you can't attend live, you can always watch them. So I would say yes, they are flexible. They are not flexible in terms of adjusting the timetable to fit your schedule. That's impossible. Okay. So they are flexible because it's recorded, but they are not time flexible. As a reminder, the tasks are not flexible. I was showing you earlier. It has a time limit. Each task has a time limit. And if you just don't submit, it just says submission closed, and then you see not submitted. So you have to, make sure you follow the timetable. And unfortunately, although we do send reminders of when these tasks are going to expire, maybe 24 hours before it expires, and so on and so forth, but you cannot rely on emails. I've said this on Slack. I would advise that you set reminders for yourself for each of the tasks that you get and when they are going to expire. You don't want to say, I forgot to submit, it has expired. Unfortunately, we have a very strict timeline. We cannot change a time on the task. Okay, that's very important. So for those that work, you have to plan your time properly. How is the training method going to be? That's a very broad question. I've really talked a lot about the training itself. So I would say you watch the recording again, and if you have any more specific question, I'll be happy to answer them. I can't answer that question right now because it's way too broad. Yeah, the training is for beginners and intermediates. I've said that. But if you're an intermediate person, you might find it boring from the beginning. but don't leave. You will get to a point that you will like. If you already know some things, I would really advise that you then help those that don't know it. So in the workspace, offer your help to people, but don't help them to do the assignments. Just help them answer their questions and so on. Right. That's a very good point. I think we'll do that. I didn't think about that before. So the question from this person is that will I mentioned that we're going to be releasing a form for you to ask questions from the counselor. So this person is asking, will the form be available before you are required to choose a course, which is a very good thing. So yeah, so that the counselors can offer some of the advice when it comes to choosing a course for a track. Yeah, we'll work on changing the timeline for that so that you can get access to the counselors before you have to choose your course or your tracks. Thank you for that question. That's a very good point. All right, let's see if I can find one more random question before we move on, before we end the call. Um, what's the modes of submission? It depends. I'll be showing you all of that tomorrow. So the LMS has about, I think, 4 different modes of submission. Sometimes we'll ask you to write the code on the LMS. Sometimes we'll ask you to submit a file. Sometimes we'll ask you to submit a link. All of that will be available. So let's see, if I open this task now, if I open this task, yeah, this task says push your app to GitHub. So it would have submission instruction there. So this particular task would only accept a link. So that's what this task accepts. Okay, let's see if I can. And when your task is graded, you see the grading here, you see the feedback here, and this person said I'm wrong. You see that it has expired. This particular code task required a code snippet submission, which you can see here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I'm sure I can show you more by tomorrow, but this is all. That's it. There are different modes of submission, and you will see them when the time comes. All right, I can still take 2 more questions. As a beginner, which is the best course to start with? Honestly, it depends on your interest. I can't really answer that question because, yeah, I can't. You have to make your choice. You have to consider all the available options, check your interest, check your goal for joining the training, and make your choice from there. If you have a more specific question, for example, if you want to ask about what is obtainable from each of those tracks, I can offer help, but I can't offer help regarding what is the best course to do because it really depends on you. Communicating tomorrow will be when, where, and when? Which platform? Usually Slack. Okay, we'll post communication by Slack. Once you get access to the LMS, you would also see posts. I don't think there are any posts. Yeah, I don't think there are any posts right now. So you will see posts and you can leave a comment on the post. All of that I'll show you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I feel like some of these questions are repeating now. I'm going to stop looking at these questions. I feel like some people are just repeating questions that have been asked before. Yeah, but we do have time for real questions. If you have real questions, please ask me. So this is a good question. What is the minimum or maximum course we can register for? You have to do all the required courses, and you can decide to do some of the non-optional courses. But again, if you do any of the optional courses, you have to pass it. You can't just do it and not pass it. That's a requirement, okay? So you have to pass all your courses to get your certificate. And yes, that will reflect on your certificate. Yeah, but your certificate is not going to list all the courses you did. It's going to list your track, but your transcript and your certificate verification link will have all your courses that you've done there. Yeah, I've answered that question. We also have something called a calendar here that sort of arranges all your things, like your lectures, your task, and arranges them in this order so you can know what is happening next. It's not fancy, it's just effective. Just arranges things in order of when they are happening. So yeah, that would be useful. Can one remove a course as time goes on? Again, those kind of things, removing a course, adding a course, adding a track, removing a track, those things are time limited. We'll give you usually 1 week to make all those choices. Because we don't want somebody leaving a course and then deciding to add another one. That's going to cause a lot of problems. So we usually give you 1 week to do all of those choices, select things, and then after that we lock it in and you will not be able to change anymore. Can somebody still apply? Unfortunately, no, you cannot. We will be releasing more courses very soon. We are currently working on it, but this particular one has already kicked off and we cannot add anyone to it anymore. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I have more questions. Yeah, the transcript thing can be requested. I've already requested for transcript, so I can't request twice, but basically that's what that page looks like. All right, almost done. Which one do you recommend? Honestly, yeah, I think I've answered the question about can I remove a course after registration? I think I've answered that question. I'm going to skip every question that have been answered by any of the tutors. Can I still register for a second track? Yes, that's a good question. Yes, you can. If you've already joined this current cohort and you want to add more tracks, that's acceptable. It's just that new people cannot come in. We don't want any extra body. We want those that are here to get the maximum value. So you can add an extra course if you want, but obviously you have to pay the commitment fee for that course also. All right, I think that's all we have. I'm happy that everybody joined, a lot of people joined the call. If you didn't join the call, just make sure you watch it to the end, or you can skip, you can fast forward if you want, but just make sure you understand everything that was talked about. And if you have a question about anything that was discussed on this call, you can ask on Slack. I've already introduced you to the coordinators. You can ask any of them. I'm sure they can answer, or they would ask me and then I'll provide an answer. After today, or sorry, after this week, I will likely not be the main person of contact. But if you do have anything you wish to pass across to me, you can always reach out to me. But I would really prefer you go through the coordinators first so I can have less work to do and focus on some other assignment that I have to get done. How will we continue learning after the 3 months? I already talked about this. Please watch the recording. I don't think I want to go back to discussing that. This document would explain course registration guidelines and will be available for you to go through also. Okay. I think it also has link to all the breakdowns, I think. Yeah. But that will be available to you also. Okay. So thank you all for joining. I'm grateful for having you on the call, for having in the training. Please maximize the access that you have. For this cohort, there is going to be a lot of changes for the next cohort. So you are quite lucky to be on this cohort, and I'm glad to have you here. We are hoping that at the end of this cohort, you would be more comfortable in your chosen track, and then you can keep growing from there. We promise to give you every bit of information that you need to be comfortable as a tech person, and then you can keep growing from there. We'll help you when it comes to reviewing your CV. We'll help you when it comes to making some difficult choices. But ultimately, you still have to be the one doing most of the work and making sure you keep growing on your own. So even beyond the training that we are going to be giving you, we would like to see that after the training, you keep growing and you keep building things. If you want to go in the route of getting a job, we see that you've gotten the kind of job that you want. If you want to go the route of starting your own company, we would like to see those kind of good news. Like I mentioned, Bosun and Jude used to be, I mean, not to brag, but they used to be my students. So I'm happy that they are they are doing quite well now. As a matter of fact, I do think Damilola and Chinas are used to, yeah, I think they were in our training too. But anyway, moving on. So make sure you have a goal, make sure you work towards that goal, and don't let anything distract you. Last chance to ask question. If there are no more questions, that'll be the end of the call. Right, no more questions. Tutors, thank you for being on the call. If you found this call helpful, just say thank you to the tutors and say thank you to those that have put it together. Yeah, finally, if you have chosen UI UX, you have to do all the courses under UI UX. You can't, there are no picking and choosing in UI UX or product design. You have to do everything under it. All right, thank you so much for joining. I would stop sharing my screen now and then we'll end the stream. Just waiting for all the thank you to come in. Oh, this is an important question. What is the pass mark? Sorry for not giving this earlier. Oh, right. So you would have to wait for that to be announced. The pass mark will be announced, what it means to pass a course. Don't operate under the assumption that to pass a course is to get at least 50%. That's not always the case. So that will be announced, and then you would understand what it means to pass it. Okay? All right. Thank you all, and I will see you on Slack.